if Bernie Sanders loses, I'm gonna go ahead. I was gonna write a blog post about this, an article about this, but I'm just gonna talk. I'm gonna tell you guys. There's two scenarios. I don't know which one is more likely to happen, but if Bernie Sanders loses, I think I want Hillary Clinton to win. And I think I'm against Bernie or bust because I want Hillary Clinton to win. And you know why? Because I want progressives. I need progressives to be angry, not complacent, and not feel victorious because you didn't let Hillary Clinton win. And because if the Democrats lose to somebody like Donald Trump, the Democrats will become the insurgency. They will be the ones getting angry. They will be the ones organizing. They will be the ones blaming progressives. They will be the ones suppressing progressives and pushing and elevating neoliberals and creating this grand strategy to take back over the White House. That's not what we need. If your goal is really to purge and get rid of or get them out of the left or separate the left from the Democratic Party, if any of those are your goals, I don't think, I think the best solution to that is a complacent Democratic Party. And the only way they're going to get complacent is if they have political power. When they get political power, they get pretty complacent. So I know this may not be something that a lot of people could follow along, but the reason I say this is because I've been on Facebook and I'm going to stay off of Facebook, but I went on Facebook today and I was reading a post by some people out of the Democratic establishment. Like they are the Democratic establishment in terms of the media. Like their website actually has Democrat in their name. This is how establishment they are. And I want to read to you some of the things that they were saying about hang on, where's the first part? There's two part. About this is their thinking. Like I know they say bad things about us, and I don't care about what they say about us, but it's the mindset that needs to lose political power. And this is what they said. Essentially, they were saying that the latest trope amongst Bernie Sanders supporters is that Hillary folks are, quote unquote, delighting in our broken system, mostly originating from some headlines, et cetera, et cetera. No one is delighting in anything. Instead of reflecting on the far left's failed strategy of parachuting in only when a quote unquote purist candidate tickles their fancy. Suddenly, everything is a conspiracy, as if generation-old rules like registering for before the primary deadline, which has never been controversial, were created by Hillary and the DNC specifically to shut us out. Nothing the DNC did could have generated a 20-point lead for Hillary Clinton. You really need to accept the fact that Democratic voters are simply prefer her. Maybe not the Facebook echo chamber, but in the real world, the silent majority backs Hillary Clinton. And there are 2.5 million votes to prove it. Now, that was one. That was the first part. But then this Mr. Establishment, who runs a website with Democrats in the name, he said this: when people were responding to him and saying that he had a condescending tone and he was being dismissive, he said, well, maybe you should start turning your nose up at your fellow Bernie supporters who had the time to attend rallies, but not time enough to register. Many of them, because they haven't voted in several cycles. Maybe now you'll wake up and realize that you have to show up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This type of thinking, this type of dismissive thinking and talking points that are in political power, that's what we've been fighting against this entire time. This type of thinking that says you're not a part of our political establishment, a part of our club. We don't really want you. And we should, like, he literally recommended that we turn our nose up at Bernie Sanders supporters because you guys aren't smart enough to register to vote in time. That type of political thinking and that type of comment is exactly the fuel we need to make us pissed off enough to change this system. And so I'm taking screenshots of everything people say that piss me off, because I know if it pisses me off, it's going to piss you off. And what we have to absolutely do is start tomorrow, start today, taking over. I don't care what you take over. If it's a local precinct, you need to take that over. If it's your local Green Party, you need to get in there and build it enough so you can take over. If you want to show some strength for the Green Party, then damn it, just announce who it is. No, I'm not going to announce who it is because they're a friend of mine on Facebook. But if you want the Green Party to do something, then you better sure as hell get in there and grow it so that it can challenge Democrats. But if you're not going to build the Green Party, then you sure as hell better get inside the Democratic Party and push out the people who think like this. Push out the people who look at you as if you are a cretin, if you're a petulant child and you don't understand how the system works. And the reason you can't change anything is because you're not smart enough to go and rally and vote, to register to vote. See, we need angry progressives. Progressives are traditionally, we are idealistic, and we try we try not to let ourselves be, we try not to respond to anger. But I think, Noah, we need some people who are angry enough to start after the primaries changing the system. I don't care what y'all do. You go to the Green Party, do what you want to do. But for me, I'm going to encourage some people, and I'm going to teach some people how to take over their local Democratic Party so that the leadership who makes decisions, the people who make the rules, are real progressives and not people who are establishment. Because I'm not going to sit here and complain about the rules when I know how to get the rules changed. And I think it's time for us to actually be mad for 4 years, be pissed off, look at Hillary Clinton in the White House every damn day and think about how do we organize real progressives so that we never have to settle for another DLC, center-right, moderate-right, neoliberal economic paradigm, progressive, whatever, take progressive off, Democrat. If we don't have that, people are going to be fooled into thinking that it's a victory just to keep her out of office. No, because they will be out of office planning on how to get back in office. That's my plan. You do whatever the hell you want to do. But if you're rolling with me or if you want to join up with what we're doing, I think we need to start planning right now on the local precinct levels to put people and promote people who are going to change things locally so that there are no more rules to complain about, that there's no more closed precincts to complain about, that all the things that were a problem in 2016 are not a problem in 2020. That's me, Noah. I'm just running my mouth at this point. What do you think?
I can't wait till that is clipped as just, can't y'all gonna have to share that. I can't wait till that's clipped as a rant later on. Shout out to our YouTube editor, Owen.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Dude, you're phenomenal. But no, seriously, like I agree in the sense that we do need something to really light the fire under progressives, bottom, so to speak. And not just getting us to like, okay, we have our different issues that really get us galvanized, but really figuring out how do we create a long-term mainstay. Now, whether that becomes a big contingent of folks going over to the Green Party, which contrary to popular belief, it is a discussion we are going to have, but we are in the midst of so much craziness in the Dem primary right now. But the Green Party is a conversation. I really am interested in hearing from people more about what is the path forward in terms of a Green Party as an alternative. I'm open to alternatives. At the same time, though, I absolutely agree with you, Ben. Considering we have the system that we have now, we have this duopoly, we have this two-party system, what do we do? So we either need to have a really good plan for how do we shift from the current system, or we need to figure out how to work within what we have right now.
Yeah.
Taking over local, like I was talking with several different people and doing this work, you meet so many people who are engaged. One of the things that's going on right now, especially as we look towards California, one thing that's been going on right now, a lot of these, I don't know if this is true all over the country, but at least in California, you have a lot of these local clubs and Democratic organizations that are about to start endorsing Hillary Clinton. It is not because these people overwhelmingly love Hillary. It is because people who support her are signing up, becoming members, and voting and joining the same day. They're joining up on the day of endorsement votes, right? Like I have a friend who's organizing out in California who's been going around and speaking to different clubs. And so she's talking to all these different people. And that's what's happened at 4 different clubs now. her supporters are signing up. They're joining, they're paying fees to join these groups they have no intention of actually being a part of, but they're joining for the purpose of voting in these endorsement votes to then say, look at this long list of groups that support her. So we really do need to become more involved and engaged with our actual local committees, local people, like local voting, local organizing. It absolutely matters. We can't have a really strong national movement without the local level support. One of the criticisms, Cesar Vargas mentioned this last night in the room, one of the critical issues in New York was that personal touch, the actual engaging and dialoguing with people on the ground in New York. Now, you know, I can talk to my actual family members, you know, Stacy comes on, who's been on with me before. Stacy's from Brooklyn. Her and her husband were able to talk to people they know. You know, when people talk to people you know, that has more impact than some random person just phone banking. Phone banking is awesome, but at the same time, that ground game, that one-on-one personal support, that is the type of stuff that we actually need. And we are behind because it's this massive political machine, but the grassroots is so important. And we have to take this, we can't just be like, okay, Bernie didn't win, so we're done. We have to keep moving no matter what, because there's way too much at stake. Whether we're talking about campaign finance reform, and when we're talking about Obama's legacy, because campaign finance reform is something that President Obama was talking about in 2008 when he was running, that he has never really gotten to in the last 7 years. We're talking about who actually is the standard bearer, you know, like the person to further the Obama legacy. It's Bernie Sanders. It is not Hillary Clinton. If we want to talk about other opportunities and other parties and stuff, we can have that conversation as well. I am definitely open to it. But at the same time, we cannot just lay down because, oh, the Democratic establishment has gotten us. They're even turning on themselves. They will eat their own young. I mean, I have heard too many accounts and stories. Like, you know, we all have friends who are Hillary supporters, right? I mean, if you don't, you know, don't judge me because I do. I'm not going to get rid of my people because they support the other candidate because I love them. I don't agree with them, but I love them. But, you know, I know people who are getting like, you know, pushed out because of now that they think that they've, you know, beaten out the Bernie people. Now they're turning on each other and there's a hierarchy within. So it's a lot of madness, and it's not what we're taught the party is supposed to be about. So I do see value in getting involved and taking over and really helping to grow the party. I mean, making sure there's a way for younger people to come in line and to run. You know, Nomiki Coates did a talk a couple of weeks ago on MSNBC. She was talking about how hard it is for women of color, for young people to actually run and actually be engaged in the party because of the way the issues are with money and stuff. Like if you're not kissing the right ass, you're not getting the poll. You're not.
We're gonna fix that. I'm telling you.
Well, yeah, definitely.
It's like it has been hard, but we're gonna weaponize Alex Law's model, and we're gonna get that into the hands of some dynamic people, some people of color, some women of color, some white progressives. Like, you know, we'll talk about that in a second. This whole white progressive thing.
I think we need to start having like some round tables or something off. Like I think, and shout out to Kelly. I love you, Kelly, because Kelly has been pushing us really to start kind of connecting more of the different, you know, candidates, the different grassroots organizers. Because there's guys, Google, there's so much going on out there. And if you guys are on Facebook, check out the Progressive Army group that we have going on, because there's a lot of information that's going to start being shared in there. You know, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on that different people can put their energy in different places. We don't all have to be in one movement. We don't all have to be in one specific organization, but we do need to look at opportunities to leverage our experience, our exposure, to come together to really push forward a particular agenda.